turned to the mess. Keep my fire up, man, I'm turned to the mess. Feeling like.
Hello, beautiful people out there. My name is Ashton. Somebody knew me by my stage name, Ashton Martin.
Hi, and I am Daikiria. Some of you may know me as Shan. So this week's topic, and just to do a quick review or just to go over how enlightenment works, every month we have a topic. This month's topic is love, and today's topic is on self-love. So I'm very, very excited about this topic. Wonderful one.
Yup.
Alright, so basically we're just going to pretty much be talking about, self-love, the true definition of it. I know it's a really, really big deal with me. That's something I know that I battle with for a very, very long time.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's definitely a wonderful topic, and something that I feel that everyone needs to hear. Everyone needs to definitely talk about, because some people truly don't know what self-love is. Some people truly don't love themselves. So I mean, this is wonderful.
Yeah, especially in this day and age, self-love and self-confidence, I feel like is very low in our youth. A lot of it has to do with all these dependencies that we have. Social network dependencies. People just wanting attention. It's a reason why they want attention. It's a lot of people that put on the front, make themselves feel like, or make themselves seem like they're very happy or they're very confident, when in reality they're not really. They have really low self-esteem. They depend on stuff like social networks for their self-esteem, for their self-confidence. That's why they'll be feeling high one day when they're getting a lot of attention, and feel low the next day when they're not getting as much attention. But honestly, that's not true self-love. I feel like true self-love is only dependent on one thing, and that's God. It's not dependent on any other thing. Like, it's basically somebody can tell you that they don't like you, or they don't like the way you dress, or they don't like the way you do something, when you can still sit back and say, well, it's okay because I still love myself. That's true self-love. It's not a front. It's not putting on for anybody to make it seem like you have self-confidence, or doing things just to get a lot of people behind you to make you feel confident. It shouldn't be dependent on anything or anybody else. Self-love comes from your inner self. Self-confidence comes from your inner self. And that's what it really is. It's not cockiness. It's a difference between the two. And I get a little bit more into that, as we get into this discussion. But
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is definitely very true. I feel like media has a huge influence on that, because we all look at magazines, we all look on TV. All the superstars, they have makeup on, a certain type of look. They're all skinny, they're nice shape, and I mean, it's really, really hard when you're growing up, because we try our best to be like that. We want to be perfect, we want to look like that, and I know that's something that I dealt with for the longest, because I felt like, oh, I need to have this, I need to have the nice shoes, the Jordans, and I just had to look like they look in the magazines. And that is something, especially to our young ones, that we need to put out to know that is not what beauty is.
Yeah.
It's not what true beauty, inner beauty is what true beauty is. It's definitely something that we need to get out to the youth. And I mean, not only that, it starts from within the home. I feel that a lot of things would be solved if in the home, you just let your child know, or just let them know you are beautiful. So with that, they don't have to go out and feel like a man has to tell them they're beautiful and, avoid. But like I said, self-love is definitely a big topic. And I was so excited to do this topic. I really was, because I know this is something that hits home. It really does.
Yeah. Even me, from a boy's perspective or a man perspective, I had problems dealing with that too. A lot of insecurities, not loving myself. It's a lot of simple things. I mean, just like the media portrays, you have certain artists that portray themselves, and everybody want to look like that. You have certain like athletes that portray themselves a certain way, and so every boy coming up wants to look like that. And you know, every boy is not gonna be the big tall guy, the big tall muscular guy, so it makes them feel some type of way about themselves. And even coming up with my being younger, I didn't even like my skin. I didn't like my skin tone, and I feel like that's another thing that this system has against us as black people. It portrays an image to make us not think that black is beautiful. Like when I was younger, I was like, man, I wish I was light skinned. I feel like all the light skinned people get all the attention. All the light skinned people, you know what I'm saying, get, you know, just more in general. And I hated myself because I was darker. You know, I hated that. And you know, but as I learned more and I learned, you know, more about my culture and learned the true, you know, what it all comes from, I grew to love myself, grew to love my culture. And I feel like that's another big problem that we have. In society, like for real.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with Ashton on that. That is that's a definite problem in our society. So we just, you know, just start from this. We first, in order to be able to achieve anything, we have to know what it is. Yeah. And so that's basically what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what truly self-love is, how you can truly love yourself, because some don't know. You know, for me, it took me, you know, years, you know. Yeah. And also, so we all know basically that saying that you can't love anyone until you love yourself. That is definitely true. You cannot love anyone until you love yourself. And what we're basically basing this off today is that is not the most important part of that saying. The most important part of the saying is that you can't truly love yourself, neither can you truly love anyone else until you first love God. So we're going to basically, that's what it's all going to be based off of. It's just first to know that you have to love yourself. You know, you have to love God before you can even love yourself. So that's definitely what we're trying to achieve here. So I have a verse personally that I look to when thinking about this. So what I'm going to be reading out of, this is actually Mark. This is the 12th chapter. This is the 30th and the 31st verse. So I'm going to just read that real quick. It says, "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment." So just to do a breakdown, it's basically stating, you know, of course, just you have to love thy God. That is the first commandment. So it doesn't matter how many, you know, Bibles are published, how much the Bible's words are changed up, switched up. That is the first commandment. And it's just basically stating that, you know, you just must love God. And I mean, last week, if you missed it, definitely check out our last video. We basically went over what love is itself. Some people don't really know what love is, and that's a lot more to, you know, what man define love is. So that was another big one, or definitely important one from last week. But basically saying, you know, you have to love God first. And then for the second verse, it says, "And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these." So it's basically what, you know, I was saying, just those three. You have to love God first, you have to love yourself, and then in order to love yourself, you can love thy neighbor. And that anyone is our neighbor. So you just have to remember, and I know that's another thing, is there's a lot of times where we think that we truly love others. We think that we truly love our mates. We may think that we love them, and you know, there's a lot of issues. I mean, I could just be the first one to admit that I was one of them, where I thought I truly loved my mate, but I didn't love myself. I depended on my mate to make me feel good. I wanted him, like, I needed him to tell me I was beautiful. Like, I needed to hear it all the time. If you didn't remind me, then I'm going to feel that you don't love me. Like, those are issues. You run into those issues. That's why it's very important for us to definitely listen to the word. You know, go by the word, abide by it, because life can't work any other way. This is the order. This is the instructions for life, and it's just no other way. You can't skip one and go to the other. You can't think you can love God and then just simply go to love you know, your neighbors. It just don't work like that. So that's just something to keep in mind, because I know, like I said, that'll come a lot of issues with relationships, with friendships, because you depend on other people. And that's just as Ashton was talking about earlier with, you know, there's a lot of times people, you know, on social networks or whatever, they depend on other people to make them feel like they're somebody, you know, and that's not the way to go. It's not gonna be like that. And that's, as he was saying, you can never, you won't have that full self-confidence, right, Ashton? So I mean, you know, that's just it's another thing there, just to remember that. And that's something that, trust me, that took me a long time to learn, and I think I'm still learning, still definitely learning. But I mean, just to put that out there, it's very, very important to love yourself. You know, and as it said, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So greater, meaning these are the most important commandments. So yeah, what about you, Ashton?
I had a couple verses that I want to get into. Before I get into them though, I want to explain the difference between positive and negative self-love and or self-confidence. I guess I'll start with the negative. The negative self-love is basically how we was talking about being dependent on other things, other people. Now there is another type of self-love or self-confidence that is negative too, and that's arrogance or cockiness. That is like basically, you know, some a lot of people suffer with too. Just getting a big head of certain accomplishment or having something that somebody else doesn't have, so it makes you feel above them. That's cockiness. Basically, if you feel like you deserve anything, basically that is being arrogant off rip, because I'm gonna tell you firsthand, you don't deserve nothing. Especially dealing with God, we don't really honestly deserve anything that we got, and we really don't deserve it. So if you feel like you do deserve everything that you have off rip, that's arrogance. That's pure arrogance. And it's a lot of different, you know, different ways to be cocky. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know a lot of different people that's cocky like that. But that's a false self-love basically. Most people that are cocky like that really don't love themselves. They just put on the front to others to make it seem like they have the full self-confidence, or they have the full people behind them, or they have the, you know, just sticking their chest out, when really on the inside of their chest is empty. You know what I'm saying? You poke it, it's nothing in there. Ain't no heart really at the end of the day. But that's what cockiness. Those are examples of the negative. The positive self-love is, like I was saying before, just not being dependent on any man or anything on this earth. It's coming from your inner self, coming from God, having that self-love for yourself, not having to hear it that anybody else loves you. It doesn't matter if anybody else loves you. You know you love yourself. That's the real self-love. And basically, what I'm going to be reading from is going to be my first one is going to be Proverbs 14:16. Now, verse 16 says, a wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but a fool rageth and is confident. Now, what that basically is saying is, a righteous man departs away from evil, and a foolish person, which is arrogant person, basically when it says confident, it means it's talking about an arrogant person. Basically, he assumed that sin has no consequences, and it's foolish confidence basically. So assuming that you're doing something that has no consequences behind it, or sin has no consequences, it's arrogant, it's cocky in yourself. Because basically you putting yourself over death, basically, since, you know, the wages of sin equal death. You putting yourself over that. You're being cocky, you're being arrogant, you're being foolish. Thinking that you deserve anything is being arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Even when you do receive something, it's being arrogant to think that you deserve it, not being humble about it, not being thankful for it. That's arrogant. That's cockiness. Yeah, so that's basically what that verse is saying. I also got another one that I want to get into. It's Psalms 118, 8 through 9, basically. Let's see. Find that real quick. Alright. And verse 8 says, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man." It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes, basically. Breaking that down, those two verses are saying that it is better to trust the Lord than man. Those who put their confidence in man, government, or themselves will always be disappointed. You'll always be let down. You will never have full self-confidence in yourself. Those who try to impress others will always be disappointed. You will not have a true love for yourself if all you live for is to impress others. If all you do is buy an outfit and put on the outer to impress people around you. If all you do is do certain things to get other people to come around you or to be around you that don't even love you, they just love the things you do, or they love the things you wear, or they love the, you know what I'm saying, the outer things. If nobody loves you for the inner things, you will never have true self-love. You have to love yourself before anybody else can love you. First, you have to love God, though. And if you have confidence in anything other than Him, it's not true confidence. You won't love yourself. And basically, people that do these things that seem like they have high confidence, they don't love themselves. They don't have high confidence. They're really just cocky. In reality, they have a low self-esteem. You know, it took me a while to figure this out too, because I used to think that like the cocky people really love themselves. So it kind of make it seem like, man, they really up there, like they really love themselves. I wish I loved myself like they love themselves. They don't really love themselves.
That's right.
You know, in reality, they really are miserable. They may not put it out there what they really feel like, but in reality, they really are miserable.
Yeah.
They will never have true love because they put on for others. They depend on human. They depend on government. If you depend on the government to bring your self-love to yourself, you depend on what's on TV depicting, you know, your favorite stars for you to love yourself, then you will never have true self-love. Because all that stuff is fake at the end of the day, really. Half the people you see on TV don't even really look like that. They put on the image too.
That's right.
That's why they powder on so much makeup, all this stuff to look like that image. They don't really look like that in reality. You see these guys without their makeup, you won't even know who that is. You know what I'm saying? But
and that is a big thing, Ashton.
Yeah.
And you know, just saying that really brought me to women, that we must have respect for ourselves. And that brings me to having respect for ourselves. You cannot think that a man will respect you if you don't respect yourself. And when I say respect, this is what I mean. I don't mean you going out and, you know, you paying your bills, paying on. When I say respect, I'm talking about even as simple as just what you wear. And that brings another thing. If you truly love God as you say you do, you would not wear such things. Because we're not supposed to wear things revealing. That is not what we are supposed to do. So if we truly love God as we say we do, we don't have to go put on these short shorts and, you know, these tight clothes to impress another person. That comes the fact that you feel that a clothes to reveal the way your body looks. Things that no man, unless you are married, like no man is honestly supposed to have that gift, you know, or even supposed to be seen, even a little taste of it. You are not supposed to be revealing such things, you know. And honestly, that shows a lot, you know. Honestly, I used to see some girls with those type of clothes. I used to really say, like, man, I wish I had self-confidence to be wearing something short like that or wearing something nice. So I wish I had that body. And it's like, the older I got, the wiser I grew, I started to realize, like, no, I don't want it, because it's the fact that it doesn't matter who she is with. If you have to wear clothes like that to make you feel good, I really honestly feel bad. That's how I feel now. Like, I really feel bad that you feel that you have to wear stuff like that to boost your confidence up. And at the end of the day, it don't do you any well, because the type of men, that brings me to another subject. Those type of men, first of all, that's lusty. So those type of men who basically are, what's the word I'm trying to say? Type of men who likes that, or you bring in, those are not the type of men that you need. Attracted to. Those are not the type of men that you truly need in your life, because a man who's really has class, they're gonna want their woman to have class. They're gonna want them to have, you know, be clothed. Like, it should be a great thing to know that you can go out in even sweatpants and meet someone. That means you truly have self-love. Trust me, I didn't meet Ashton with no tight clothes on and none of that. I mean, that just goes a long way. Men, trust me, men respect that. For instance, they may enjoy that little, she's wearing this, she's wearing that, but after a while, when you truly realize what true love is, that man is going to realize, I don't want a woman who shows all of this, because this is my property and my property only. And that just goes about respect. It's such a big deal, and it's something that, like I said, it really has to start within the home. It's very important. I just wish our parents, I mean, I understand that your father may not be there, but even a mother, it has to be taught, regardless if you have your parents there or not. It's just something that has to be taught, that you are beautiful. You have to learn how to love yourself before you can truly love someone else. And that is so important. Like, I thought I could skip loving myself. I thought that I could just love Ashton and be that. But trust me, when you do it right, when you love God, you start loving yourself. Because he will bring out the greater. He will bring out the greater. He will bring out the light within you, and he will show you how wonderful you are. How wonderful, how smart. I used to sit up here, everyone tell me you're so smart. I'm like, I'm dumb. I mean, I always say whatever I have to say. It doesn't matter how many A's I get. It doesn't make me feel any better, because I didn't truly love myself. But when you start loving God, you start putting your trust in him, like truly, truly loving God, you start loving yourself. And once you start loving yourself, it's no type of love is greater when you love yourself and then you start loving your mate. It's a wonderful thing. When you truly find that true love, you will love your mate in ways that you will look at your mate in ways that you've never ever seen, ever. Even imagine that you can love them that great. And I mean, it's just very important. That's why, we have to definitely be careful swinging around that love word, because that's serious. The 1 John 4th chapter, the 20th verse, I'm basically stating that if a man say, I love God, and basically hate his brother, he is a liar. So remember that. It's very, very important. You can't say you love God, but then hate this person or hate that person or feel this type of way about a person. Remember that. So, I mean, just go over that. Ashton, you have anything more you want to say about the topic?
Yeah, it goes for any setting, and like even in the church, a lot of people base their confidence off of their pastor. Yeah. And no matter what, you're supposed to always look to God, not look to the man.
That's right.
Look to the person who ordains him. I understand he is the pastor. It's a reason why I'm pretty sure he's the pastor of your church. But you're not supposed to trust in the man. You're supposed to trust in the one who ordains the man. You have to understand we are all vessels. And basically what I'm saying, don't put your trust in a man. Don't put your trust in any man. We're all vessels. Put your trust in the Father. Now I understand, like, it'd be situations where you do have to depend on a man.
That's right.
But don't put your trust in that man. Put your faith in God, not the man. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Right. And
just remember that it don't matter where you from or what you been through, what you done did. You're never too low. Like, it's so many instances in the Bible where God uses like the lowest person, from David to Moses. They were all, if you notice that God, the people that are the great people in the Bible, they was like low. They was, you know what I'm saying, low at one point.
Rich.
Like you look at David, he was a little boy and defeated a giant. That's just off rip. That's amazing. It's basically God does that to show you just how powerful he is. He will show you, I can take you from this point and bring you to this point. And he will also do opposite just to show you, you know what I'm saying? He would sometimes when you on your heart, it go for people who cocky too. When you're on your high horse and you think you all that, he would take you off and put you down in the dirt just to show you, look, remember who I am. And he will bring you, don't get me wrong, he will bring you back out of that, but he will bring you down to show you, look, I am God. Remember that. Don't get the big head just because you got this and got this and got that. I will bring you down quick as I brought you up. And just one thing to remember.
And that's a definite one. definite one. You give him praise. You give him praise when you're up.
Yes.
You give him praise when you're down. Never forget where you come from. I know we look at that in a sense with man. We think of money, but in his sense, think of it. Never forget where you come from, because he can always bring you down in a quick. And trust me, he is a very jealous God. You know, Christians, church folks, where you feel no one can touch you. You know, you done been saved. Saved from what? We still sin. You know, so don't get that twisted thing. But you were once lost. Okay, just don't forget that, because I come across that so very often, where you just kind of forget. So I mean, just remember that. You know, you never forget where you come from. That's with everything. Yeah. But so yeah. And then I just had one last verse. It was Ephesians 5th chapter 29th verse. So basically it says, "For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church." And I mean, I feel like it's so just such small amount of words, but it's such a big deal, because I look into where it's basically stating, even as the Lord the church. That is big. You know, when you think about the Lord with the church, how he pretty much brings it upon and strengthens it. You know, strengthens it and strengthens it. Can't talk, but I mean, it's definitely a big deal. It's telling you are to love yourself as Lord the church. And I mean, if that doesn't say it all, you know how important it is to love yourself.
Because your body is a temple.
That's
right.
You
gotta think, if even in your flesh, if like spirit wise and flesh wise, if you're not up to par, how can the Lord use you? How can the Lord use you if you don't treat your body right? If you mark your body up all these type of ways, if you constantly using all type of things in your body, how can he use you at that point? You know what I'm saying? How can he use you if you don't treat yourself right? It's this, you gotta think of like this. These things that we got is rented. These ain't really ours. It's just something that we renting out. You know what I'm saying? Something that he lended us. And so it's just like if somebody lent you something, you wouldn't just destroy it or do it any type of way. You treat it good, because it's not yours. It can be taken back at any time. That's what people don't fail to realize. You really don't own anything. Everybody think that this is mine. Everybody say that so much. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. Technically, it's not yours. You don't own anything. Anything you have can be taken away from you. I mean, for real, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So.
Definitely, and as Ashley was saying, you know, it is a temple, and it's very important. You know, I know that's something I'm working on, still working on. You know, I'm not perfect, but definitely it's very important. We must take care of ourselves. We must take care of ourselves. We must learn, because that's what the Lord does with the church. He takes care of it. He builds them up. You know, He takes care of it. So that's the same thing we must do.
Church
right. We post to nourish properly. Provide food, for our help, comfort. It's very important, and that's just,
even like with your mental, you gotta watch the things that you spend most of your time doing. You gotta realize what most of your time is going to. If you stay in negativity, you keep your mind in negativity. You staying on networks and all this type of stuff. That has an effect. It takes an effect on your mind. You may not realize it. But it takes an effect on your mind, because it equals to dependency. That's what anything can equal to dependency. Like, I'm not, and that's the thing with people. I think people they take things the wrong way when I say something. I don't feel like anything is really bad. I feel like too much of anything is bad. Just like if I have like a drink, basically, I don't feel like it's wrong for me to have a drink. Now, if I wake up in the morning, I feel like, man, I gotta get a drink before I hit my knees, then yeah, I feel like that's wrong. Just like with smoking, if I feel like if I have to, smoke before I can wake up, before I can do anything else, before I put that before my Savior, anything like that, I feel like that's wrong, because all that stuff, it leads to dependency. You become dependent on something other than, our Father, and our Father's jealous. So it's basically saying that that's your God, that's becoming your God, whatever you become dependent on.
That's right. And speaking of that, even a person can be your God. A man could be your God. You know, there's a lot of times where parents may put their man, their, you know, whomever above your child. You know, that's a big no-no, first of all, but we're not going to get onto that because that's something you should know. You should know that. But as far as that, even your man could be your God. That's who you feel like, oh, I just love him, but you don't, you know, you don't show the Father any love. You don't, you know, do your readings or, you know, at least pray, you know, some type of relationship. But you can quickly, you know, call, be on the phone all day and not give any type of love towards what you were really supposed to be. That's an issue. And trust me, like I said, that relationship will never prosper without the Father first. It will never. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you try, what you tell yourself. It would never. And remember that God knows your heart. So that's the first thing. You have to remember to love him. It doesn't matter with whatever you do, with a job, you know, with doesn't matter, basically, with careers. You have to love God first in order to succeed and be successful in anything. And that's something that we all would just end up learning. I know, I can speak for myself, that I had to learn that I can't love Ashton until I truly love God. And if you get in a relationship, or, you know, you get in a friendship, you start hanging around friends, and that kind of make your relationship with God get rocky, well, trust me, that's going to be taken. It's going to be taken away. He's going to knock you down. He's going to knock you down to a point where that's all you have to depend on. Trust me. That's all. You can't do anything. You can't go to people. The person who you could go to, you can't go to them. You know, you have to surrender.
But to conclude, basically, self-love is, and self-confidence is not dependent on anything else but God and yourself. If you depended on anything in this world, it will always fail, regardless of what it is.
So that's love God, love yourself, and then you will be able to love others, and those are the greatest. So thank you guys for watching again. We successful one. So again, make sure you like, comment definitely, and subscribe. It's Enlightenment and Love 777. So thank you so much for watching. See you guys next week.
A lot of people try to clown when they see somebody down. Then when the table turns, you see the prey up on the crowd. Just keep your mind on your grind. And them haters on the sideline, rhyme pine. The day you make it prime time, pray to God above the rules.